38 degrees. The wind is 9 miles an hour, down from in the 20s today, so it should not be a factor and will diminish under a full moon at FedEx Field. Well, London Fletcher's been in the NFL for 15 years. He's been here since '07, the linebacker for the Washington Redskins. A little while ago, spoke with Michelle Tafoya.
London, you started the season 3-6. You're now 9-6. What's been the biggest difference in this 6-game winning streak?
Just the focus of the 53 men on this roster. Everybody with one focus, one goal in mind, and that's winning each game. There's no difference between 3-6 and 9-6.
You told us earlier that knowing what you know now about Robert Griffin III, you'd give up a whole lot more to have him on your team. What is it about the rookie that has a 15-year vet like you so impressed?
Well, I think, he's clearly the most important reason why we've been able to get in this position that we're in today. And, we gave up a lot, but we give up more to get him again.
London, thanks. Good luck.
Thanks.
And Dallas linebacker DeMarcus Ware will play tonight with a harness on his strained right shoulder and a brace on his right elbow. He estimates he'll be able to play about 60% of the defensive snaps. And Al, earlier today, he tweeted out, "Pain is temporary, quitting lasts forever."
He sums it up, and it's a big night for him, and it's a big night for Jason Garrett, who took over for Wade Phillips in the middle of the 2010 season. He's 3-1 against the Redskins as he concludes his third year. And Mike Shanahan came here in 2010, has a 2-3 record in his 5 games against the Cowboys. What a scene at FedEx Field. Final game of the regular season. The winner to the playoffs and the loser is done. And the Washington Redskins won the toss, and they have elected to receive. As you look at Dan Snyder on the right, the owner of this team, and Joe Gibbs was sitting next to him, who guided the team to 3 Super Bowl wins. Brandon Banks is hurt, so he's inactive tonight. And back deep, Richard Crawford and Evan Royster to run back the opening kickoff off the foot of Bailey. And now taking it in the end zone and running it out will be Niles Paul, one of their tight ends, who brings the ball back out to the 16-yard line. Let's take a look at the Redskins offense.
Robert Griffin III, Baylor University.
Alfred Morris, Florida Atlantic.
Darrell Young, Villanova.
Joshua Morgan, H.D. Weston Senior High School.
Pierre Garçon, Haiti.
Logan Paulson, UCLA. Trent Williams, Oklahoma.
Corey Lichtensteiger, Bowling Green State University.
Will Montgomery, Virginia Tech.
Chris Chester, Tustin High School.
Tyler Columbus, University of Colorado.
That's an offense that is 5th in yards and 4th in points in the National Football League, averaging 27.2 per game. They have the best rushing game in the league, and they're 18th in passing. And part of that rushing game, of course, is the quarterback, RG3, who takes the snap out of the pistol formation and hands it off to Alfred Morris, the great-looking rookie, 6th-round draft choice out of Florida Atlantic. Stopped after a gain of 1, 2nd down and 9. Griffin won the Heisman Trophy last year. Take a look at his passer rating over the last 5 games. That's since the bye week, when this team was 3-6. They made him a captain. You see the C on his uniform. And since then, he has just been phenomenal, despite suffering a knee injury against Baltimore and then missing the following week's game against Cleveland. Played last week against Philadelphia, had a little bit of a limited role, and we'll see how much more they can use him tonight, especially in the run game. And right off the bat,
this is the first charge timeout. Washington, 30-second timeout.
Redskins have to take a timeout. So Mike Shanahan and Griffin, who has a lot on his plate. He is really a special guy, and he had to change his helmet because I think part of the reason they just took the timeout is the speaker wasn't working. So Kyle Shanahan, Mike's son, the offensive coordinator who calls in the plays, they have to take a timeout, and there it is. He couldn't hear the play call, and that's why they had to take the timeout.
All the planning, all the stuff you do to get ready for a game like this, and Kyle Shanahan couldn't get the play in right away. But I tell you, for the Dallas Cowboys, they are shifting personnel early in this game. They're trying to give RG3 as many looks as they can early.
And that's a defense that's had a lot of injuries, coordinated by Rob Ryan, who's had a lot of mixing and matching. And they stuffed Morris after a gain of 2. It'll be 3rd and long. Let's take a look at that Dallas D.
Marcus Spears, Louisiana State University.
Sean Lismore, William & Mary.
Jason Hatcher, Grambling State.
Anthony Spencer, Purdue.
Dan Connor, Penn State.
Ernie Sams, Florida State.
DeMarcus Ware, Troy University.
Brandon Carr, Grand Valley State.
Eric Frampton, Washington State.
Gerald Sensabaugh, North Carolina.
Morris Claiborne, LSU.
All eyes on Ware as you look at Rob Ryan and how effective he can play tonight, how much he can play tonight. So RG3 now flanked by Evan Royster in the backfield on 3rd down and 8. Hanging in the pocket, throws, and it's incomplete. Joshua Morgan with a drop. So a 3-and-out plus a timeout for the Redskins, and they'll punt.
Going to challenge the best cornerback on the Cowboys. Brandon Carr coming across the field just one-on-one, and you can tell the nerves already a factor on the outside, and DeMarcus Ware going to be such a key tonight.
Dwayne Harris to run the punt from Sam Rocca back from the 44-yard line, and Harris into Redskin territory, and then Rocca is able to tackle him in a manner of speaking, but not until he gets to the 27-yard line. Kyle Wilbur with a great block to spring him, and the Cowboys were in great shape on their first series.
Well, and it really was a key block right at the point, and no clip, no block in the back, which happens so often on these kicks. Pretty good job there by Hanna, just sort of turning his back and not even creating. There's Wilbur right there with a big block as well.
Block on Johnson, and then Rocca just gets his body in the way to stop him. So a 38-yard kick and a 28-yard return, and the Cowboys start at the Washington 27-yard line. And they hand the ball off on 1st down to DeMarco Murray for a gain of 2. Tony Romo said at the top, his legacy changes week to week and probably will for the balance of his career. In December, 10 touchdowns, 1 interception. So he has been great this month. Last week led a comeback against New Orleans, which sent the game into overtime, and the Saints, though, eventually prevailed. Bryant, bottom of the screen with press coverage from D'Angelo Hall. That'll be a big matchup tonight. Romo looks the other way, and the pass is incomplete because Miles Austin falls down. 3rd and 8. Let's take a look at the Cowboy offense.
Tony Romo, Eastern Illinois University.
DeMarco Murray, Oklahoma.
Dez Bryant, Oklahoma State.
Miles Austin, Monmouth University.
Jason Witten, Tennessee.
John Phillips, Virginia. Tyron Smith, USC.
Nate Livings, LSU.
Ryan Cook, New Mexico.
Mackenzie Bernardo, Bentley.
Doug Free, Northern Illinois.
3rd down and 8 now for the Dallas Cowboys from the 25-yard line. Blitz, and the pass is picked off at the 18-yard line by Richard Crawford, who brings it back to the 29. So against the blitz, Richard Crawford, the rookie out of SMU, with the interception, and Washington has the ball again. Too high for Ogletree. Sunday Night Football brought to you by Southwest Airlines. You can find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Papa John's, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL. By BMW, we only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine. And by Bud Light, the official beer of NFL fans. Here we go. And there they go, the Redskins marching band, been around since 1937. And before the game, hail to the Redskins to get this crowd all pumped up, as if they needed a little more fuel. Here's Alfred Morris, and the 6th-round draft choice, the rookie from Florida Atlantic with a big run, finally brought down by Sensabaugh. Another gem, a late draft pick, as was Terrell Davis when Mike Shanahan was in Denver. That's 19 yards.
One of the dangers of coming up the field and coming after RG3 is they get this stretch play going. You get out around the inside of that, and you have issues on the edge. Trent Williams, a Pro Bowler, working against DeMarcus Ware, who is having some physical ailments. And Tony Romo, that was not the start he was hoping for.
From the 48-yard line. Out of the pistol. They give it again to the rookie Morris. And in a year when you've got Griffin and Wilson and other outstanding rookies. This guy sort of gets lost, but before the night is done, he may wind up as the Redskins' all-time leading rusher for a single season, eclipsing the mark now held by Clinton Portis.
And terrific feet. He was all the way on the far left-hand side and cut that one all the way back on a grass field and not a particularly fast field, and able to make that kind of cut at 220 pounds.
Needs 104, needed it before the game to eclipse the mark, and already has 31 on 4 carries tonight. And here's his 5th. And he takes it to the 37-yard line where Mike Jenkins knocks him down.
Well, you're going to have to stop this. Think back to the days of Terrell Davis, this whole stretch play, the back, and then just make his cut wherever he sees fit. And I'll tell you, for a young man that really didn't have much experience running this kind of read option and stretch play, he has picked it up quickly for a rookie. So much conversation about Robert Griffin III, but they're not here with a chance to make the playoffs without another rookie in Alfred Morris.
Thought he might be a fullback, then they saw him in training camp and knew he was their guy. Off the play fake, the pass goes to Moss, and Santana gets taken out of bounds by Mike Jenkins with an arm around his neck, and that'll make it 3rd down and 4.
Here's the hardest play, I think, to stop in this. Watch these linebackers have to step up on this read option fake right here. First of all, that's where you freeze, and then you freeze in here, and then the open space behind those linebackers where they try and hit that slant. RG3 didn't like that one, but that's the hole they'll try to exploit.
So Griffin won for his first 2. They put Royster in the game on 3rd down behind Griffin. And Griffin will keep it himself. And RG3 to the 27-yard line. And that's one of the reasons the Redskins lead the league in rushing. Not only do you have Morris, but Griffin has now gained 758 yards this season on the ground.
Again, DeMarcus Ware, the one on the island. Here he is, takes a half a step inside, and here it comes around the outside. Almost every big 3rd down the Washington Redskins faced the last time they played the Dallas Cowboys, he kept the ball and ran it and converted huge 3rd downs. Starts the same way here tonight.
6 minutes into the game with no score, and the playoffs on the line. A little toss. And Morris gets taken down by Brady Papinga. Now that Cowboy defense on the field for 91 plays in the overtime game against New Orleans. And for Ryan, he's lost Sean Lee, and that was a huge loss early in the season. Jay Ratliff hasn't played very much of late. Orlando Scandrick is gone. So is Barry Church. So is Kevin Carter. He's had to get guys off the street to play. Second and 7. Griffin, good protection, dumps it off to Morris over the middle. They don't throw to Morris very much. He takes that ball to the 19-yard line. For Morris this season, only his 10th catch of the year.
Yeah, it was interesting. We were in practice the other day, and of course that was the knock on Alfred Morris coming out, that he couldn't catch the ball. And they ended up throwing him a ball, and he dropped it and couldn't make a play on it. And there was more hooting and hollering, but it was more fun type stuff. So this is a very loose football team, despite the magnitude of this game here.
Very. 3rd and 2. Cowboys show blitz, and here they come, and they're able to stuff him, as Morris had no hole there to burst through. Ernie Sims, who came off the street, one of the guys who's been around in the NFL for a while, but was not on anybody's roster until midseason, right in on the stop.
You're going to see this. If you're going to stop this read option play, you're going to have to bring extra guys down around the line of scrimmage. That time, Tyrone Crawford able to play off and stop that one, set up a field goal.
Kai Forbath has made his first 17 field goals. He was in the Dallas camp last year, but never played in the game, and he tries to make it 18 straight and hits the upright from 37 yards. So Forbath picked up in October his first miss, and the game remains scoreless. For the total viewing experience, check out Sunday Night Football Extra on NBCSports.com. That's what the screen will look like. We always have a social media analyst, and tonight it's Clinton Portis. You can check in with Clinton, ask him what's on your mind, and he's tweeting from the booth next to us, and he's here tonight watching Alfred Morris with a chance to eclipse his mark that he set back in 2005. On this 38-degree night, after the miss by Forbath, they start with the Cowboys from the 27, and Romo on a roll, and he's going to eat it at the 23-yard line. Everybody is covered, and London Fletcher will get credit for a sack.
All right, Tony Romo is going to roll out here. London Fletcher, who their defensive coordinator Jim Haslett says is the smartest player he's ever coached, smelled that one out rather than dropping back in coverage there. He saw there was nobody to pressure him, went up and got a cheap sack. What a year he has had.
37 years old.
3 out of the last 4 years in the Pro Bowl and an alternate this year.
And that coach on the field calls a timeout because he did not like the Redskin alignment before a 2nd and 14. Defensive coordinator Jim Haslett, at the beginning of the last decade, the head coach at New Orleans, you can see the improvement that his defense has made since that bye week, since that 3-6 start. And that Redskin defense, before a 2nd and 14, Fletcher had to take a timeout. So the Cowboys resume play from the 23, 6:20 to go in a scoreless opening quarter. And Romo to the outside, tipped and incomplete, intended for Bryant. And D'Angelo Hall and Bryant will be seeing a lot of each other all night long.
In the same way they got the interception earlier with the blitz, they come back, which means one-on-one on the outside with the best matchup of the night. Des Bryant going against D'Angelo Hall, and D'Angelo Hall almost came up with one there. The winner of that battle tonight may well be the winner of this football game. The two best on either side of the ball going at it all night long, one-on-one.
Romo has started 0 for his first 3 with an interception. They go 5 wide on 3rd and 14. And the Redskins send 5. And Romo has to sling it, and it is Bryant. Does he make the catch inbounds is the question, and they say yes. He has been phenomenal, has Des Bryant, over the past few weeks, especially with a broken finger. He has to tape the 2 fingers together on his left hand. That's a gain of 23.
Well, this is just brilliant stuff. This ball was thrown when Des Bryant was nowhere close to looking back for the ball. That was Tony Romo. And the new connection he's been having with Des Bryant over the past 6, 7, 8 games of the season, those two have been brilliant.
And the Cowboys got up to the line of scrimmage quickly to make sure there was no challenge on the play as Murray takes the ball across the 50-yard line. That's a gain of 5. It'll be 2nd and 5. Well, Murray burst onto the scene last year, and then he got hurt this year, foot injury, and he's missed 6 games. In his first 5 games, as you can see, a 4.4 average, but over the last 5 since he's come back, only 3.7.
Yeah, but the key is he's fumbled in each of the last 2 games after having only 2 in the prior 20, so you wonder if that's inside his head just a bit for this one.
2nd down and 5. Going deep down the left side, underthrows it, and it's picked off at the 14-yard line. Intended for Austin, intercepted by Josh Wilson. And one of the big differences between these teams is the turnover ratio. Washington's been terrific. Dallas is now -12 on the season. 2 picks tonight. So Tony Romo has already thrown 2 picks tonight in a scoreless game. And the Washington Redskins take over at the 14-yard line with 5 minutes to play in the opening quarter. Redskins' 3rd possession. And the pass underneath is caught out in the flat by Morris, his 2nd catch. And we go back to the interception.
Well, Tony Romo doesn't like to hear about it, but pressure's on, and so far he has not delivered in this game. The play fake was a little messed up from the beginning, and then Jason Witten got pushed back into Romo, but this ball was severely underthrown, and Josh Wilson able to make the play. Rob Jackson is going to take Witten right back into Romo, and you can see he just short-armed that throw just a little bit, and it cost him an interception. Not the start that Tony Romo would hope for, with his critics very loud at this moment.
2nd and 3. Here's Morris. We talked about the turnover differential. The Redskins don't turn the ball over. They have the fewest in the league at 14. The Cowboys, meanwhile, that's 28, or almost 2 per game this season.
You know, it's so interesting talking about Tony. We talked to him about it last night. He goes, hey, it's a team game. You know, let's face it. You know, it's not, I don't lose games, you know, the team, all that kind of stuff. But when you're the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys and you're in this moment, you are ultimately judged on what you do here. And he knows it. He understands that full well. Luckily for him, the turnovers happen on this side of the field, and it's still 0-0.
Now Griffin off that play fake, buying time. Slings one incomplete. Joshua Morgan, the intended receiver, Brandon Carr covered. There's no question, Chris, at the end of the day, Tony Romo will either win a Super Bowl or he'll be a yeah-but guy.
Yeah, and
but.
almost, but all due respect to John Madden on that one. But, you know, it has to be weighing on his mind. He wouldn't be human if it wasn't. He's been hearing it. Doesn't matter what he's done as a player. And during the course of the regular season, he's put up huge numbers. But here he is now, you know, less than 12 minutes into this game, this key pivotal game, and we're already talking about it.
2nd and 10, the running back is Evan Royster. Short drop, quick slant, caught by Leonard Hankerson. Picks up some yardage after the catch, breaking a tackle, and that'll move the chains. First down up at the 39-yard line after a gain of 12.
Well, RG understands when they're trying to bring pressure, just have to throw this one hot off the edge. The Cowboys blew their hot read for their first interception, and RG3 converts on that one. He's a young man from the very beginning. Didn't have a playbook in college, didn't know a route tree in college. Came in here, and yet Mike Shanahan and Kyle Shanahan said, I don't care. We're teaching them. We're letting them audible from day one.
Heisman Trophy winner at Baylor, and the Redskins mortgage the future to get him, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for Pierre Garçon. Most of you who follow the game know the story. Andrew Luck was number 1, and that worked out for Indianapolis. And RG was number 2, but to get to the number 2 spot, the Redskins had to send several high draft picks, and you look at Gibbs and Dan Snyder again, and Joe Theismann behind Snyder, to the St. Louis Rams to move up to that 2 spot.
How about he was considering going to Stanford?
Right.
That's Jim Harbaugh was talking about, well, we could have a 2-quarterback system out here with Andrew Luck. No thanks, he was out of there.
Story we've never heard before until he talked about it the other day. And Griffin is knocked out of bounds by Claiborne.
Well, this is not the Robert Griffin III running the football that we've seen earlier. Watch him. He's going to pull this out with the play fake. Here he comes, and that is not the guy that was in the Olympic trials as a hurdler. And he tried to throw this thing to maybe not take the sack, but that ball easily could have ended up a fumble at that point.
And you can see he's wearing that brace on his right knee, a sprained LCL. Tremendous career at Baylor. Had that sensational primetime game against Oklahoma last year that really vaulted him into major national prominence. And the 3rd and 7, slings it to the outside to Santana Moss, and they convert for a first down into Redskin territory at the 48-yard line.
Well, the Cowboys are trying to play some man coverage here on 3rd down, but they're using the picks with each other. That time Brandon Carr got trapped inside against Santana Moss, and Griffin is making some nice reads out here. He looks like that he's settled into this game first. He's gotten a little longer drives, but you can tell this offense is starting to play their way now.
5 of 8 for 37 yards, 12 yards on the ground. And here's Morris to the 44-yard line. Griffin, since he's been named captain against Philadelphia, phenomenal. At Dallas on Thanksgiving, great. Against the Giants, good enough. Against Baltimore before he got hurt, a 101 rating. And then at Philadelphia last week, tying in for the longest streak in NFL history by a rookie quarterback with a 100 or better rating. 2nd down and 6. And there is that C designating the fact that he is the leader. And a great kid. We met him for the first time the other day. He is the real deal. Moving to his left and buying time and extending the play and keeps his eyes downfield, and then the pass is incomplete. Fortunately for him, because Carr was out of bounds. Brandon Carr along the chalk, and it'll be 3rd down and 6.
Yeah, it's hard to watch him labor running the way that he is, but this is the second chance he's taken that he could have been burned on. I think he thought he was throwing that ball away, but Brandon Carr definitely had a chance. Both quarterbacks a little loose with the football early in this one.
So it's 3rd down and 6. Redskins have 6 first downs in the quarter. Dallas just 1. Final minute of the opening frame, and the pass is incomplete. Intended for Santana Moss, and the Redskins will punt for the 2nd time in the game.
Same basic play there. They had kind of a double pick working that time and tried to hit Moss out in the flat, and Griffin really just missed that throw.
Sav Rocca, the ex-Eagle, to kick it to Dwayne Harris. They had Bryant running back punch through the first half of the season. And Harris has done a very good job since taking over that spot and calling for a fair catch, and then losing it for the moment and winding up recovering.
Looked like he slipped just a little bit as he tried to catch that thing.
36 seconds left in the quarter, no score. Live shot there of Times Square. It'll look a little different about 24 hours from now as they get ready for New Year's Eve with Carson Daly. And you will see that beginning live at 10 Eastern right here on NBC. Cowboys now start with a nice run by DeMarco Murray, trying to get some semblance of a ground game going, something they couldn't do on Thanksgiving because they fell behind 28-3 at halftime.
And a couple of things about that. DeMarco Murray did not play in that game. Tyron Smith, the left tackle, did not play. Ryan Cook, the center, did not play. So they had a reshuffled line. It was not a good performance by the offensive line of the Dallas Cowboys. Now back intact, they should be able to run it a little better.
2nd and 3, and again they give it to Murray. And he should pick up the first down there when they spot the ball. So signaled by Walt Anderson, and that's the end of the first quarter. With the spot in the playoffs at stake. Dallas nothing. Washington nothing. Sunday Night Football resumes after these messages. Aerial coverage tonight being brought to you by Geico as you look at that spectacular shot with the Capitol where they're probably burning the midnight oil with an eye on this game, the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial, and about 11 miles away to Landover, Maryland, to FedEx Field. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya, starting the second quarter with Murray breaking out of the first tackle and then taken down behind the line of scrimmage, and we'll take a look at the Washington defense.
Jarvis Jenkins, Clemson. Barry Cofield, Northwestern University.
Stephen Bowen, Hofstra.
Brian Kerrigan, Purdue.
London Fletcher, John Carroll University.
Perry Riley, LSU.
Rob Jackson, West Haven High School.
D'Angelo Hall, Virginia Tech.
Reed Dowdy, Northern Colorado.
Medee Williams, Maryland. Josh Wilson, Dirty Turk, representing the Mountain Academy.
Forcing one of the 2 picks against Romo in the first quarter, 2nd down and 13 from the 19-yard line. Blitz coming. And the pass is caught. Jason Witten makes the 800th catch of his career. So a milestone there. That's also 104 catches this season, which is the most ever by a tight end. And he caught 18 in one game against the New York Giants earlier this season, most ever in one game by a tight end. Those catches, there it is. Gonzalez, 12:37 and still going. Shannon Sharp at 8:15, and Witten will probably catch Shannon.
But Witten did it in fewer games than either one of those guys, so a pretty significant moment there.
3rd down and 6 from the 25-yard line. Blitz again, something they did a lot in the Thanksgiving game, and then wide open is Dwayne Harris, who takes the ball into Washington territory. The second-year wide receiver out of East Carolina, a 6th-round draft choice last year, picks up 25 yards.
The blitz has been coming a lot. DeMarco Murray in the backfield is going to pick this one up and give Romo time. And anytime you want to blitz, if you're still playing a zone on the back end, there are going to be huge holes in the middle of the field. And Dwayne Harris, who is quickly becoming one of Tony Romo's favorites, found it that time.
From the 49, Felix Jones is now in the game as the Cowboy running back. And here goes Felix, turning it back upfield in a gain of 9 to the 40-yard line, where Perry Riley, the good-looking inside linebacker in his 3rd year from LSU, makes the stop. 2nd down and 1.
Well, one thing you're seeing is that the Dallas Cowboys are using 2 tight ends over here on the right-hand side, and so as the Washington Redskins aren't really reacting to that, they're flanking out one of their outside linebackers, so it's giving them some run opportunities here early in the game.
Meanwhile, Miles Austin started to limp off the field. He was hobbling to the sideline, and then he goes down, and he needs the attention. Injury timeout. Austin on the bench had to go down to the turf after trying to hobble off, and here's how it happened.
Happens so many times to wide receivers as you're trying to make a block. Either the runner or the tackler lands on your ankle and you limp off.
So 2nd down and 1. And this is Jones, who on the prior play gained 9, and he picks up the 1st down, the one-time #1 draft choice out of Arkansas, who now sees spot duty behind DeMarco Murray. And Austin tries to walk it off, but that's not going to work right now.
Been a tough year for Miles Austin, trying to battle through chronic hamstring issues. And we'll see if he can get back in this one or not.
DeMarco Murray back in as the running back. First and 10 from the 36. And Romo on a slant hits Dez Bryant. And Bryant, broken finger and all, has the left index and middle fingers taped together to the 19-yard line. A lot of pushing and shoving going on there. No doubt between Bryant and Hall. 17-yard gain.
Different reaction. Tight end out here, and this time the linebacker does not come out. So Tony Romo goes kill, 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 which means we're not running it this time. Going to throw the slant to the backside and picks it up. You can tell Romo now starting to settle in a little bit. And Dez Bryant, how about him with his broken finger and all?
And as the Redskins still down on the field, I think it's Mediu Williams. It is. It's the safety. And that would be a big blow, the 9th-year man. But he gets up favoring that left arm as he comes to the Redskin bench.
They are very thin at safety. Started the year, Tenard Jackson was suspended. Brandon Merriweather was hurt. They were supposed to be the starters. Dejon Gomes was hurt last week. He was the nickel guy and inactive tonight. And now one more goes to the bench, Mediu Williams.
That means Jordan Pugh, number 32, 3rd-year guy out of Texas A&M, comes in to take Williams' spot. Ball is at the Washington 19. Again, the winner of the game at home next week against Seattle. And the loser goes off into the offseason. And the handoff goes to DeMarco Murray. To the 15-yard line he goes. Gain of 4, 2nd and 6.
Well, we talked about Ryan Cook coming back in the center, working against probably the best of the Washington Redskins in Barry Cofield. It's a pretty good block. It's a real difference maker if the Redskins can't just come after Tony Romo. The passing game has been very good, but it gets much better when you can go a little play action along with it.
And Murray exploits that hole and takes the ball to the 10-yard line, and we check in with Michelle.
Well, for Miles Austin, it is a left ankle injury. They have put a soft splint on it. He's got his shoe back on. As you can see, he's standing up. He's going to try to give it a go. I'll see if he can put that pressure on it.
There he is trying to test it. Thank you, Michelle. And we'll see if he can come back in. Also check on Medeo Williams on the other side. Meanwhile, the Cowboys on a nice drive, which started back at their own 11, have gone 79 yards in 10 plays.
This is where they've struggled against the Redskins since Shanahan has come here in the red zone trying to score touchdowns.
It's 1st and goal from the 10. And now it'll be 2nd and goal from the 6 as Murray picks up 4 yards. That's 8 carries for him tonight for a total of 28 yards.
Where that's Stephen Bowen inside for the Redskins, a big physical player, along with Barry Cofield, 2 of the guys that they really felt like they had to add character guys, and so they go and get Stephen Bowen from the Cowboys, Barry Cofield from the Giants. Both of those guys captains now. That was a big hit on that one.
Bowen a couple of big plays last week, including forcing a penalty against Philadelphia that ended the game. Red zone defense, as you can see, and how tough they've been and how tough they are right now, because it's a 3-yard loss as Reed Dowdy comes up from his safety spot to make the tackle on Murray.
How awesome was that, Al? Reed Dowdy undercut both guys. He's going to come right off the edge here and take out the fullback Lawrence Vickers and the running back DeMarco Murray. That is as great a safety play as you will see.
2 for 1.
Awesome.
Tremendous. 3rd and goal. Cowboys go 5 wide. Play clock down to 1. Does Romo get the snap away in time? They say yes. Tony extending the play, guns it, touchdown, Witten. So a question as to whether they even got the play off in time. The clock was at 0, no flag, and then Witten, after the play extension, makes the catch for the touchdown.
There we go. See if the play gets off. Even if it goes to 0, remember the mechanics of the official. He's looking at the clock, then he looks down at the quarterback if the ball has been snapped by that point. So there's a little half beat in there that favors the offense, and that time it clearly favored the Cowboys.
There was that half beat. Dan Bailey for the point after. And with a second less than 8 minutes to go in the opening half, Dallas first blood. 7-0 Cowboys. Well, The Biggest Loser is back, and the season age doesn't matter. Jillian returns to The Biggest Loser, Challenge America, and you will see it next Sunday night, here on NBC as we conclude our Sunday night coverage with this game. And a beauty it is. As the winner goes to the playoffs, Seattle will take a trip to either Dallas or here next week. And the loser is done as the kickoff is a short one. And Evan Royster brings it back from the 15 to the 33-yard line. 7:55 to go in the opening half. 7-0 Cowboys. Well, the NFC East, sole possession of first place. The Eagles after weeks 2 and 4, with their season, of course, going down in flames. Then the Giants led after weeks 6 through 14. And then the Redskins after last week. And the Cowboys have not been in sole possession of first place at any point during the season. But when this night is done, they could be going to the playoffs. This drive begins with play faking and pumping, and then incomplete, intended for Joshua Morgan, who came over from the 49ers before the start of the season. 2nd down and 10.
Really nice job by Mike Jenkins that time. Going to get the reverse action. Then the back's going to come back around this way. I should say wide receiver Santana Moss. And Jenkins was crossing in man coverage. He saw it. He kept his eyes on Santana Moss, able to come back and recover, and RG3 had to pull the ball down.
2nd and 10 now from the 32-yard line. Morris playing at Florida Atlantic. We were talking about him before. Picked in the 6th round. Played for Howard Schnellenberger there. Schnellenberger about 3 decades ago won a national championship at Miami. And he's from Pensacola, Florida, where they make good running backs, by the way, because you had Trent Richardson playing there, who wound up as the Browns' 1st-round draft pick this year. And, of course, when you think about Pensacola, Florida, who do you think about?
One other one.
Yep. All-time leader in rushing yardage, Emmitt Smith. 3rd and 7. Royster is the back on this down, and the pass is juggled and then caught, and then holding onto it with Moore trying to strip it away is Logan Paulson, the tight end. So Paulson making that catch, and then Sterling Moore, who came over from New England about a month ago, almost was able to pick the ball away from him.
Remember, Sterling Moore was the guy that stripped Lee Evans in the championship game that sent the Patriots to the Super Bowl? That time he tried the exact same move, had his arm up there trying to strip it. A little stronger guy this time, though. Logan Paulson was having none of it.
They lost Leonard Davis earlier in the year, so Paulson's come on at that tight end spot. On 1st down now, swinging to the outside and looking for room is Morris. Stays in bounds, picks up the 1st down to the 43-yard line. Tackled there by Sensabaugh, so that's 11 carries for 64 yards, and he's 40 shy of the all-time Redskin record. That's 14 yards on that carry.
One thing Mike Shanahan loves is how close to the heels of the offensive lineman Alfred Morris gets until he makes that cut, but he also has the speed for a guy that weighs about 225 pounds to bounce it all the way around the edge and make plays like that.
From the 44 on 1st down. Morris takes the toss. And Morris with another 1st down to the 32-yard line. What rookie wall? He's carried the ball over 300 times this season.
Tell you, that's another nice block there by Logan Paulson. Here's a guy that replaced a great receiver in Fred Davis, and he doesn't have speed. He's not a fast guy, but he's really helped this running game. That's a tremendous block on the outside on Ernie Sims, and really sprang that one for Alfred Morris.
Morris now is 75 yards on 12 totes. 5 minutes to halftime. Griffin keeps it, and Griffin will have a 1st down as he dives forward, and Brandon Carr makes the tackle. So RG3 limited to 2 runs last week, only one of them a cold run, carries the ball for the 3rd time tonight here.
Well, Spencer is the guy going to be in the vice here. He takes a step down this way, and here it comes. That's all they're doing. They don't block the end guy on the line of scrimmage, this time Anthony Spencer. He takes a step down. They even have the fullback, Darrell Young, coming directly at him. So there's that moment hesitation. We talked to DeMarcus Ware about this a little bit. He said when that pulling fullback is running at you, you don't know what's coming next. Is he going to kick you out or try and hook you?
Even though he dove, they actually moved the ball back. So it's 2nd down and 1, and now a 1st down is Evan Royster, 2nd year back out of Penn State. He, like Morris, a 6th-round draft choice, picks up the 1st down. Kyle Shanahan, who was at Houston under Gary Kubiak, and then when his father got the job here, came here, and he is on a few lists as a head coaching candidate.
Well, if you don't have a Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees on your team, you better get a little creative the way that he has with this offense.
From the 17, Morris to the outside, inside the 10, touchdown Redskins. "17 yards for Alfred Morris and 92 in the 1st half.
I tell you, it is just a nightmare to play this offense. This time it's going to be Niles Paul who's going to come around and get this hook block. Every once in a while, Anthony Spencer says, okay, I've finally got this thing figured out. He's going to take it inside, and now here comes the blocker around the outside. They seal you on the edge, and Alfred Morris is gone. Forbath
to tie the game. Redskins go 68 yards, 60 on the ground. They are the #1 rushing team in the league, and you saw why on that drive. 3.5 to the half, 7-7. Fantasy season is not over. You can play NFL Playoff Challenge, where you can win a trip to Super Bowl 48 in 2014. Play today at NFL.com/fantasy. White House on this 38-degree night. FedEx Field, Landover, Maryland. Game tied at 7, 3.5 to the half. With Forbath to kick off and Dwayne Harris setting up at the goal line for the run back. And instead, the ball is taken at the 3-yard line. That's John Phillips, the backup tight end to Whitten, who backs up and then takes it to the 23. We go back.
Things are happening so fast in this game, we can't show you everything. Watch Tony Romo, first of all, buying time here. He is one of the best in the league. You're going to rush 3. He's just going to hold it. And Jason Whitten essentially playing dodgeball in the front part of the end zone. Watch this. 1, no, there's 2, no, no, 3, 4, no, there you go. Perry Riley felt like he had to cover for a half an hour, and finally, Romo made him pay.
From the 22, Medea Williams is back in after he was favoring his left arm. The Washington safety back in the lineup as Romo retreats and then throws, and that is Whitten, who gets taken down after a gain of 10, and we go to Michelle.
Well, an update on Miles Austin. We told you about the left ankle injury, and he was giving it a go on the sideline trying to see what he could do. They have now taken him back to the locker room. He jogged back there, Al, and he had no noticeable limp at all. I'm told they're going to reevaluate it, and we'll know more perhaps before halftime, most likely after.
All right, thank you, Michelle. So for the moment, he's out. They have Harris, of course, you can spell him, Bryant, Ogletree, Cole Beasley, as well as their other wideouts, and Jason Whitten, the tight end. So still a lot of weapons for Romo, who is 6 for his first 10 for 92 yards. And then to the outside, that is caught by James Hanna, the number 3 tight end, for a gain of 8 before he's taken out of bounds.
Well, I tell you, it has been DeMarco Murray's blocking more than it's been his running so far in this game. He's going to pick up the blitzer off the edge here, and that gave Hanna a chance to catch it and pick up yardage from there. It has been a game in which they've been going back and forth a little bit. This added tight end on the outside has made the Redskins defensively make some decisions about what they're going to do with Ryan Kerrigan. This time they walk him out.
Second and a short 2. And this is Murray, who takes us to the 2-minute warning with a first down to the 45-yard line. The trip to the playoffs at stake for the winner. 2-minute warning, 7-7 at FedEx Field in Landover. Over that shot of Honest Dave, we can tell you the Toyota halftime show, breaking down the playoff matchups. Adrian Peterson just comes up a little short in his run in history, but the Vikings go to the playoffs. The guys will take a look at what they expect in the second half of this one on the Toyota halftime show coming up at the break. 2 minutes to the half. First down for Romo and the Cowboys, and they start with a short pass over the middle to Jason Whitten for a gain of 4. The Cowboys have all of their timeouts.
This 2 tight end set is working for the Dallas Cowboys. They're putting James Hanna flanked out, and if the linebacker doesn't walk, which Rob Jackson does not this time, they have been going to the pass. When he does walk out, they run that way. There's the pass.
2nd and 5 as Romo hits Des Bryant, and Bryant will have a first down at the 35-yard line, under a minute and a half to play. D'Angelo Hall makes the tackle.
This is sort of the core offense that Peyton Manning has run with Dallas Clark all those many years. If you don't go out with them, they attack it.
And so Romo had to push Hanna, who doesn't play that much, to the right spot and slot to the right. And then he throws, and that pass is behind Hanna. So Hanna getting to see more playing time. Now, of course, minus Austin, and when they want to go 5 wide, you got to go deep into the bench.
Des Bryant on the outside working against D'Angelo Hall. Just one-on-one. And I tell you, he's catching a few balls down the field, but if D'Angelo Hall can have a stalemate, he doesn't necessarily have to win, but keep him somewhere under 100 yards, the Redskins will take that all night in a one-on-one matchup.
2nd and 10. Brian Knight has caught 3 for 55. Blitz coming. Romo gets whacked as he throws, but he gets it away, and it's caught by Witten. That was Josh Wilson coming in from the blind side, and Romo slow and getting up. He really took a shot.
They're coming out of the secondary on almost every snap of this stuff. They are just blitzing and blitzing and blitzing, and that time Romo did not pick it up.
And Dallas needs a timeout for Tony to recover. Sunday Night Football brought to you by new Prilosec OTC Wildberry, by the 2013 Chevrolet Silverado, working hard on and off the field, by Microsoft Surface, and by National Car Rental. Go National, go like a pro. Since 1958, Ben's Chili Bowl has been serving their famous half smokes on U Street in D.C. Hogs, home of the Hogs. FedEx Field, 3rd and 9 after Romo took that shot. They had to take a timeout from the 34 now.
Blitz again. They're showing blitz. Let's see if they check out of it here after Tony caught him.
Coming again. And Romo hangs in that pocket and then underthrows the intended receiver Bryant with blanket coverage on that play. So it'll be 4th down and 9. So you're looking at about a 52-yard field goal attempt here. And that's what they will do, or attempt, as no, it looks like they're going to punt instead. So instead of a 51 or 52-yard attempt on a night where the wind has really died down, instead they're going to have Norman kick it away and into the end zone. And so with 38 seconds remaining, they'll take over the 20-yard line.
Al, the Cowboys had a huge opportunity there. The Redskins tried to run their different team on the field when they saw they were going to punt. If they had snapped it, they would have caught them with everybody on the field, moved it 5 yards, and then could have tried the field goal. Look at this mess. Snap the football. There's no reason to be waiting around at that point.
Exactly.
Somebody has to recognize on your special teams that you could have had an opportunity for a field goal. They blew that one.
Didn't even have 11 guys on the field. So instead, Garrett, figuring he didn't want a missed field goal to result in the Redskins having the ball at the 42, he also knows he will get the ball, the Cowboys will, to start the second half. Evan Royster is the running back here. The Redskins have 1 timeout, and they'll give it to Royster for a 3-yard gain. So the Redskins, at least off that play, figure to be content to go into the locker room with the score tied, and Mike Shanahan taking his headset off, and that's the indication right there that they will go into intermission tied up.
But I think Jason Garrett is going to be thrilled, because this Cowboys team has played from behind so much this season. They've been outscored by 74 points in the first halves of games. So for them to be here 7-7 and getting the ball to start the second half, they're a much better second half football team.
And that takes us to halftime, with the berth in the playoffs at stake. Cowboys get the second half kickoff. The score is 7-7 at the break. Coming up after this message from your local NBC station, the Toyota Halftime Show. On to the second half we go. You can watch your favorite team's top moments from 2012. Go to iTunes.com/NFL. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. Sunday Night Football as we wrap up the year. Washington #1 in the league in rushing, and you see the numbers right there. Only 43 passing yards. Dallas turned the ball over twice. There is Jerry Jones, the longtime owner of the Cowboys, bought the team in 1989, and again, a team on the precipice, as they always seem to be, with the winner of this game hosting Seattle next week. Kai Forbath to kick off. The Cowboys will get the ball as the second half gets underway with Harris running it back from the 5. and then ripped down by Drew Doughty after he crosses the 20, and we check in with Michelle.
Well, Al, wide receiver for Dallas, Miles Austin, he retaped that left ankle that he injured there in the second quarter. He's going to try to give it a go. As for his coach, Jason Garrett, he likes the way his team's defense is playing, but he said Albert Morris is a problem. They got to keep him inside by setting the edges, not letting him run to the outside. As for Mike Shanahan, I said 43 yards passing. How do you get it going? He said we might not need to, thanks to Albert Morris.
It's a good answer. Thank you, Michelle. Meanwhile, there is Austin. He is back in the game on the left side, and they start on the ground, and they give the ball to DeMarco Murray for a gain of 4. It'll be 2nd and 6.
Well, one thing about Miles Austin's injury, though, is that, yes, the Redskins have been playing a lot more man coverage in this one than what they did the first time around. And if they watch Austin and determine that he is not what he was to start this game, you're more inclined to do more of that, which gives you additional blitz opportunities.
He's in the slot to the left. Give it to Murray, swinging to the outside. Gets to the 29-yard line. The fullback Vickers leading the way. It'll be 3rd down and 1 for Dallas.
I tell you, Miles Austin's going to quit blocking. Every time he blocks, he's just getting ripped. He's on the outside here trying to set a block for DeMarco Murray, and he's going to take the brunt of that shot. One of the best 3rd and 1 backs in football, DeMarco Murray.
And he'll get Vickers in front of him too, Chris. And he will follow him. Well, he doesn't follow him long enough because he starts to cut it back, and then London Fletcher makes the tackle, and where they're going to put the ball. If the nose of the ball's on the 30, it's a 1st down, and that is the case here.
Right there, Cofield's going to get good penetration up the field. Kind of picked off Nate Livings, the guard, trying to pull around, but just enough. Marco Murray, bad foot and all, just enough to get it to that line, barely.
It's Harris coming in motion. Big hole for Murray. To the outside he goes for a 1st down and 11 more. A total of 21 yards. Knocked down by Mediu Williams at the 49.
Really nice job down the field. I think that was the center, Ryan Cook. Let's see him get down on some of these linebackers. Murray's going to make the good cut, but that was Ryan Cook down the field. Remember, did not play in the first game, and he has been a factor so far in this one, having to match up against the best from the Redskins up front and Barry Cofield.
Felix Jones is the running back. Cowboys in Redskin territory. And Jones goes nowhere as he crosses the line of scrimmage.
Well, now they've got a little answer with Ryan Kerrigan on the outside. We talked about when he flanked out, Tony Romo stayed with the running game. Well, this time he's going to walk down inside after they commit to the run, and there he is to make the stop.
Blitz again on 2nd and 10, and the pass intended for Bryant is incomplete. Looking for a flag and doesn't get one. 3rd down and 10. Des Bryant, 3rd year out of Oklahoma State. Picked in the 1st round, late in the 1st round, as he dropped to the end of the 1st round in 2010 because of issues at Oklahoma State. 24 years old, has had a number of issues, obviously. If you follow the game, you know that in Dallas, but seems to be getting to the point he's maturing. He's been tremendous over the last few games. 2 58-yard touchdowns and receptions last year, and playing with a broken finger that's going to need surgery in the offseason. 3rd and 10. And Romo is chased and has to throw it away. 4th down.
I think they have blitzed on every 3rd down that I can remember. That time it was London Fletcher who came free, but every time these guys are coming, this time it's London Fletcher unblocked, And Tony Romo really has no choice but to just throw the thing away. I'm sure they would love to get an opportunity to go down the field and work against these safeties some, but at least thus far, the game plan of Jim Haslett is working.
Brian Moorman, who was the longtime punter at Buffalo and came here after the start of the season when Chris Jones got hurt, sending it down toward the rookie Richard Crawford from the 11-yard line. Crawford, who had a big-time run back against Baltimore in overtime to set up a game-winning field goal, returns it to the 15. 7-7. Look at this. Well, we've seen every quarterback through the years get frustrated, but not too often do you see Tony Romo and Jason Witten, who have been a fantastic combination for years, and not on the same page there. And you saw that as we went to the break.
But Tony Romo's right. They are getting free runners on the blitz, and his guys aren't making the hot reads where he has to get the ball out.
From the 15 now. This drive begins with a Morris run up to the 20-yard line. So Morris tonight closing in 7 yards shy of the all-time Redskins rushing record, 24-35, best in the NFL, #1 in rushing. And thanks mainly to two guys, Morris with 14-13 coming in, 58%, and then the quarterback RG3 with 752. So that's 89% of your rushing yardage from those two guys. And take a look at that. Third from last in 2010, 25th last year, and #1 this season. And it's juggled, but holding on to it is Morris, who takes the ball for about 3 to set up a 3rd down and 2. It's 100 yards now for Morris tonight.
One of the adjustments for the Cowboys tonight, they have been overshifting their defensive line that way, and the Redskins are running away from it. And yet it's Jason Hatcher who's been able to come back across the field and make the play. He is their best defensive lineman up front. Felt like he should have been in the Pro Bowl. Somebody has to get him cut off if that's going to be effective.
And the pistol now with Royster as the running back on 3rd and 2. And Griffin hangs in the pocket, and then it's dropped. Had a sure first down, and Pierre Garçon, who's had a really good year but has not made a catch tonight, the longtime former Indianapolis Colt, drops one, 4th down.
Who has been huge this year. They are 8-1 playing with Pierre Garçon, 1-5 playing without him, but that one may go a long way in this one.
Sav Rocca, the Redskin punter, with a good deep angled kick, and Harris backs up from the 20, brings it back out to the 30-yard line. Taken down there by Jerome Murphy after a 56-yard punt and a 9-yard return. 7-7. Jerry Jones, Dan Snyder owning two of the 3 most valuable franchises in the league. Cowboys at $2.1 billion according to Forbes. Redskins at 1.6, just behind the New England Patriots. And at stake, a berth in the playoffs for one of these teams as DeMarco Murray picks up about 3 yards to the 33-yard line. For Dan Snyder, who bought the team in the late 90s, the last time that they played a playoff game at home was in 1999 when they met Detroit the year after Barry Sanders retired. And the head coach here, who he inherited, was Norv Turner. And for Jerry, of course, he has the 3 Super Bowl wins, but been a drought-filled last several years. Cowboys go 5 wide. Redskins almost jump off. Now Romo with the play clock at 1. And only a 4-man rush this time. And Romo is going to escape. And then the pass is incomplete, intended for Miles Austin. One of the few times tonight that the Redskins have not blitzed. 3rd and 7.
That was a nice job by Josh Wilson that time. I think he fooled Tony Romo. He was fooling around the line of scrimmage. The safety walked up, Mediu Williams, like he was going to be in man coverage, and he basically tricked Tony Romo. Here's Wilson out here, turned and looked like he was going to blitz, backed up, and went right underneath the route that Romo wanted to throw to Miles Austin.
8:42 left in the quarter, 3rd and 7.
This is where they've been blitzing all night. Again.
And they come again. And Romo gets it away, and it's too high, intended for Ogletree. And caught by Shanahan. 4th down.
Well, what they're doing is they're blitzing, but then playing zone behind it. So they're all coming here, and usually that means man coverage, but this time they're playing zone in behind it, so Ogletree runs the route right into Richard Crawford. There's nowhere to go with the ball. I tell you, Jim Haslett's done a really nice job with his game plan.
Shanahan making the catch, one Eastern Illinois quarterback, Romo, to another. Mike played there years ago as a quarterback. Mormon's punt, drop, picked up at the 18, and then D'Angelo Hall gets smothered at that spot. 8:25 left, 3rd quarter, 7-7. I didn't know, and nobody that I knew, including those in this organization, knew. Jim Harbaugh takes the Stanford job, comes from the University of San Diego in 07, recruits Andrew Luck out of Stratford High School in Texas, and then he brings Robert Griffin out to Palo Alto for a visit. And he sits Griffin down and he says, hey, why don't you come here and I'll run a 2-quarterback system. And Griffin says to himself anyway, I'm not sure that that's exactly what I have in mind.
I may want to go win a Heisman Trophy on my own somewhere.
Yeah, can you imagine though, as this is Morris who gets stacked up, that Harbaugh conceivably could have had Luck and Griffin together. But Griffin knew something was up when Richard Sherman was his host. He was playing defensive back, would move to wide receiver now with the Seattle Seahawks. He said, no, this is not going to work.
Yeah, we said, now what was it that you liked about Stanford so much? And he said, they had awesome pancakes out there. You know, I mean, a lot of times with young men that age, that sometimes could be the deciding factor. Who knows?
And then he winds up signing with the University of Houston, but then before he goes there, goes to Baylor, and you know the rest. And meanwhile, there goes Clinton Portis's record as Morris takes the ball up to the 29-yard line. So he needed 104 yards. He now has 111, and there's the 6th-round rookie, and there is Clinton Portis, who has just seen his mark eclipsed. It goes up on the board, and Clinton acknowledges it.
Bad news on that record is it looks like Corey Lichtensteiger is hurt.
The left guard. Meanwhile, there is Clinton Portis as the crowd now acknowledges that mark has been broken. And the left guard, Lichtensteiger, key member of that offensive line, obviously able to get up. Tina Fey and Amy Poehler will host the Golden Globe Awards, and you'll see that right here on NBC on Sunday the 13th of January. For the Capitol on this Sunday night, Josh Laribas, a rookie, comes in for Lichtensteiger at left guard, and this is Alfred Morris picking up about 3. I work on the left guard in his 4th year out of Bowling Green, who's been replaced for the moment by a rookie out of SMU in Laribas.
And a fairly significant injury, because Lichtensteiger is one of those smaller kind of offensive lines that Mike Shanahan has loved over the years, because he has the ability to reach block across the center on those stretch plays. When I asked about the offensive line, Trent Williams, the Pro Bowler, was #1, but that was the second name that was brought up. So a significant injury.
Michelle right there to get a first-hand look at the treatment. The ball's at the 33-yard line. And this is Morris busting his way for a first down as he takes it to the 40-yard line. Papinga makes the tackle, and it's 122 yards for the rookie.
Sometimes this backside cutoff block is the key one. That time Tyler Columbus, who came back from the concussion, was able to get the cutoff block on Marcus Spears, and that's what set up that run. That stretch play is all about creating an alley. It doesn't matter where it is, and boy, I tell you, without DeMarcus Ware being a steady force in this game defensively, you have to give a lot of credit to the Cowboys for holding up the way they have on defense.
Morris again on the pitch. Cuts it back upfield, and there he goes again for 21 yards before he's taken down by Eric Frampton.
Just so patient for a rookie. You don't see many rookies that just have the ability in a big game to just patiently read that one out. You know, I tell you, anytime you see Mike Shanahan draft a running back in the 6th round, you better put him on your fantasy team, because more often than not, they turn out to be special ones. And boy, this is big.
That is really big. That's Anthony Spencer, who's down on the turf. Sunday Night Football brought to you by Wendy's. Now That's Better by Zero Dark 30 in theaters in January, by T-Mobile, and by Toyota Care, complimentary on every new Toyota. Exhibits at the museum downtown D.C. There's a Cowboy jersey, number 84, given to President Reagan back in 1984. So DeMarcus Ware, who hasn't been in that much tonight, is going to have to come in. Spencer is on the bench, at least for the moment. Off the play fake, the pass is caught over the middle to the 20-yard line. Goes Pierre Garçon on his first catch of the game.
It's almost unfair to inside linebackers. There's no way you can't step up after the way they've been running the football. They pull it out, throw this little thing right in behind it. It has been the staple of this offense throughout the course of this season. Nobody's been able to stop that play.
At the 20. First down. Morris. And they're able to bust up the blocking. Loss of 3. Here's Michelle.
A bad night for left ankles at the moment. Corey Lichtensteiger has a left ankle sprain. He is questionable. Anthony Spencer, they're also looking at his left ankle, taping it up. They're going to try to see what he can do, Al.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. That's very important. Alex Albright, for the moment, comes in at the outside linebacker spot. It's 2nd down and 13. It's a team with Ware hurt tonight, but playing. There he is. Now you got Spencer on the bench. They lost Sean Lee, Bruce Carter. They're on injured reserve. So deep into the depth chart they go on 2nd and 13. And this is Garçon. And with a stiff arm, out of bounds, inside the 10-yard line.
I'll tell you, if this quarterback thing doesn't work out, Robert Griffin could go play for the Globetrotters. He is a ball handler extraordinaire. He makes you believe this run is happening right here. Right there, then raise up, quick screen, nice block on the outside, nice block down the field by Logan Paulson. But he's going to look at DeMarcus Ware just like he always does, and then throw that one in there. This Kyle Shanahan, Mike Shanahan offense is fun to watch.
Or he could stay at home and play for the Washington Generals. 1st and goal. He keeps it and scores to give Washington the lead. Inside the beltway, outside the beltway. They love him.
Right there you go. Marcus Ware is going to feel like he's got to get inside the block of Logan Paulson the minute he does. Robert Griffin III simply pulls the ball out, gets a big block by Pierre Garçon on the outside. I call it hocus pocus, Al. You know, when I was watching the tape getting ready for the game, it's hard to follow the ball. It's hard to know exactly what they're going to do next. And that young man runs it brilliantly.
Jiminy Smokus. They go 82 yards. 9 plays, 7 on the ground, only 2 through the air. 14-7 Redskins. 1999 was the last time the Redskins had a home playoff game. Been in the playoffs a couple of times since, but on the road. Hail to the Redskins, being played by the band here at FedEx Field, which holds about 85,000. RG3, they were chanting his name. They've been chanting Alfred Morris's name as well, the 2 rookies. The stars of the show once again. And it's 14-7 Washington, along with the defense that's done a very good job tonight.
Can you remember a time when 2 rookies had the kind of impact that these 2 young men have had on a franchise? I mean, it's just been remarkable, especially when you consider they were 3-6 and had to win them all in order to get in this position.
I can't in any sport. From the 5, Dwayne Harris. And And he takes it up to the 25, where Lorenzo Alexander just showed you why he's going to the Pro Bowl as a special teamer. So Tony Romo, who's been brilliant with his team trailing, second team to win 8 games despite trailing in every game. The Saints back in 04 did that when they were coached by, ironically enough, Jim Haslett, the Redskins defensive coordinator, and now Romo's got to pull it off again.
Yeah, but Tony was telling us last night, he said, I'm starting to get comfortable playing from behind. I think it's one of the differences. But this season coming into this game, the Cowboys have been playing ahead only 23% of the time, a remarkable number for a team with a winning record.
Third worst in the league in that regard. Oh, and that's almost picked off, and Witten was able to make sure that Fletcher did not get another interception. He picked Romo off on Thanksgiving Day and has picks in 3 straight games and 5 overall this season.
London Fletcher has been hot. He has gotten interceptions lately, and he got Romo the last time. Should have had that one. For Tony Romo now, he is going to have to start winning some of these one-on-one battles with his receivers. He's getting opportunities. They have to start taking advantage of what they have on the outside. Where is Des Bryant?
2nd and 10. And Murray up to the 34-yard line, took a direct snap, and he picks up 7 yards. 3rd down.
Jason Garrett's got a little hocus pocus too, huh? Watch Tony Romo do a little acting job here, like the ball sailed over his head as DeMarco Murray took off with it. Doug Free back in at right tackle. They've been alternating at the right tackle position with Jeremy Parnell over there. Big play here. They have to get a little momentum back.
3rd and 3.
Sure smells like a blitz, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Here it comes.
Again, Romo finds the hot read, and that's Witten right over the middle, out to the 43-yard line. Jones with a nice block. 2 minutes to go in the quarter, 1st down.
Yeah, that was the conversation they were having on the sideline, basically saying, you know, Jason Witten, if you don't do this, if you don't get open for me against these blitzes one-on-one with these linebackers, we have no chance. They're sending one more guy than we can block. You have to win that battle. That time Witten did in a big play.
Witten's caught 6 passes tonight, 6 of Romo's 11 completions. Felix Jones is the back. Stretch play to the left side for Jones, and around the corner he goes for 7 yards before he is run out of bounds by Williams. You know a guy whose name we barely mentioned tonight? Walt Anderson, who's the referee. There hasn't been a single flag tonight. How about that?
These are 2 of the more penalized teams, right? I mean, over the course of the year, and there's nothing better than when you don't have to hear it.
When you don't know who the referee is,
that's a good night.
It's a great night.
And a well-played game.
Yep.
There goes Des Bryant at the top. This time maybe a little safety help. Nope. He's going to get the one-on-one again.
Through the middle on 2nd down and short goes Jones, and before he gets bunched up, that'll move the chains.
You know, it's kind of interesting to see Felix Jones getting some carries. We saw him a little bit earlier this year, and Felix Jones, who's been such an explosive runner in the past, averaging a gain of 20 yards about once every 30 carries or so, has only had 1 all year this year, but he's gotten healthier because DeMarco Murray's come back and he hasn't had to play as much.
Final half minute of the quarter. Murray back in behind the fullback Vickers. To the outside, this is Vickers. And the fullback picks up 12 yards on that reception. And that's going to take us down to the end of the 3rd quarter with the 12th and final playoff spot up for grabs. 15 minutes left in regulation. End of 3. Washington 14, Dallas 7. Sunday Night Football. Back after these messages. And tonight's aerial coverage is being brought to you by Geico. On this very chilly night in our nation's capital, Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya, the final 15 minutes of the regular season, at least in regulation. Last 7 games, the Cowboys 108 points in the 4th quarter, most by a team in a 7-game span of one season in the history of the NFL. So they have been red hot in the 4th quarter. They came from behind to beat Cleveland in overtime, came from behind to beat Cincinnati, came from behind to beat Pittsburgh in overtime, and then last week lost in overtime to New Orleans after a big comeback, and Murray takes the ball to the 30-yard line. 2nd and 5.
Get those safeties coming down. Now you're going to have Des Bryant one-on-one situations on the outside. He has been such a second-half force here over the second half of the season. Just hard to believe he wouldn't get a few opportunities here coming off of play action, especially with the way they've been running the ball.
Ball's been on him all night. He's caught 3 balls as Bryant for 54 yards. 2nd and 5. Romo rolling the other way, and that pass is incomplete, throwing it toward the line of scrimmage, knowing that nobody was open. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
Yeah, I have to give credit to Richard Crawford here. They had a chance, but Crawford is going to take this to the outside. He gets around and is able to get to Dwayne Harris and break that up. Dwayne Harris actually had to sort of get back inside that inside block when he faded the other way that allowed Crawford to get there.
3rd and 5 now. Bryant goes to the top of the screen. Cole shadows him. Romo out of the gun. Harris wide to the left. They just do get the snap off. And that pass is incomplete. And Hall looks around for an offensive pass interference call and gets none. It'll be 4th down.
You have to give D'Angelo Hall credit. He has been winning this battle here since the very beginning of the game. There he is, and the referees are letting a lot of stuff go, a little physical out there. Both guys, I don't think anybody was initiating it. Had an opportunity, but that was huge. And now Jason Garrett's going to give Dan Bailey the opportunity he didn't get in the first half.
This one from 48 yards to cut it to 4. And Dan Bailey hangs it through. Less than a minute into the 4th quarter. Washington 14, Dallas now 10. Sunday Night Football being brought to you by Verizon. Share the holidays with the Share Everything plan. By Nissan, innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow, innovation that excites. By J.P. Morgan Chase. By Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Oh yeah, seeing these scenes both at the old RFK Stadium here all these many years.
I was thinking the same thing, just driving in here tonight, and you looked around and it was the Redskins and the Cowboys and all the great memories over the years of these huge games that these two franchises have played, and now it's a running Hogs kind of Redskins team going against the flashy Tony Romo and the passing game on the other side. It was like old times.
And especially in this particular scenario, as the teams meet twice a year, home and road obviously, and a win or go home scenario to end the 2012 NFL season.
And let's give the commissioner and the NFL some credit. They realigned the schedule so that these divisional games are played at the end of the year, and a lot of drama coming down on the final couple of weekends.
Great idea. It's proved to be very fruitful since that concept went into effect a couple of years back. 2 yards in the end zone. This is Niles Cole. And he brings the ball out to the 27-yard line.
Well, who would have ever believed that the concept of taking one of the best defensive players in football in DeMarcus Ware and essentially on many plays leaving him unblocked and letting the ball handling of a rookie quarterback trick him or fool him into chasing things that simply aren't there. A couple of times tonight, and on the go-ahead touchdown, that simply has been the case. And DeMarcus Ware, don't feel too badly. You aren't the only guy that has fallen victim to this act this season.
Lichtensteiger is back in at left guard. This guy begins from the 26-yard line with the Morris run. You know, when the Redskins were 3-6, it got a lot of publicity. Some people thought, the way it was portrayed by some of the media, that Shanahan was waving the white flag because he says before the bye week, hey, now we're going to find out who wants to be here for the next 2 years. But in a way, he was lighting a little bit of a fire. They go to the bye week. They come back, and Mike says to the team, hey, look, we're 3-6, but we have a lot of division games. If the Giants lose one game, we control our own fate. We just have to, go on a winning streak. He wasn't giving up. It was a very coy move on his part, and they're 6-0 since. And Griffin, around the corner he goes with that bulky brace on his right knee, and Eric Frampton is able to knock him out of bounds.
Unblocked again, but then you're bringing the guy across this way, and so for DeMarcus Ware, he doesn't know he's going to get kicked out. Is he going to get hooked? What's going to happen? And he's playing dodgeball with the fullback, Darrell Young, and he's basically being frozen on the line of scrimmage. So one of the best pass rushers in all of football is forced to just sit there and watch this show happen in front of him and not know where the ball is.
With his arm in a harness on top of it, with an elbow and shoulder issue. And this is Morris to the outside. So Mike Shanahan got the Raider job at 36. That didn't last very long. And then there's the Washington Post headline for the sports section: down for the count after they lose to Carolina. But that's the last time they lost, and that was back in early November. Mike, 14 successful years, mainly successful in Denver. 2 Super Bowls with John Elway in 97 and 98. Fired there after 08, took 09 off, and said, it was a great thing. It was the first time I was kind of out of football and I could look from the outside in. And then Dan Snyder brings him here in 2010. Second and 12. And that's caught by Moss. And Moss spins away. And then before he can pick up the first down, Alex Albright knocks him back a couple of yards shy of the first.
It's so interesting for me to see what's going to happen to Kyle Shanahan after this season. Because if you don't have one of the big 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the NFL, your chances of winning a Super Bowl aren't very good. But now what some of these teams have done, and Kyle Shanahan, one of the architects of this one, they've created a way for a mobile quarterback. I don't want to see a running quarterback because this guy's a pure thrower. There's no doubt Robert Griffin is a throwing quarterback, but the added element of his speed has taken defenses and spun them on their ear.
3rd and 1 as the play clock expired, and that's caught on a slant for a first down. Garcon spins the ball, as is his tradition. Ryan barking at himself and barking at anybody who would listen after a gain of 15.
Well, here's that play again, and Pierre Garcon with a nice catch over the middle, but that is the play. You see the read option, you see the handoff, you see Alfred Morris, you see Robert Griffin run around the edge, and then they pull it down. And DeMarcus Ware telling us last night, that is the hardest part. That play you just saw is the hardest thing that they do in this offense to stop.
Field goal range at the 33. Morris exploits a hole. There he goes. Morris to the end zone. Touchdown. Alfred Morris, 32 yards to pay dirt and 172 yards on the ground tonight.
So many guys, but let's watch Chris Chester on the backside. Usually when you see a play like this, you get these big cutbacks, and defensively, occasionally when the play is away, you tend to relax. But the Washington Redskins are intense on the backside because they know that these are cutback plays, and Alfred Morris has put on a brilliant performance tonight.
Forbat for the point after. 10 and a half left in the 4th quarter. And the Redskins with the biggest lead of the night, 11 points. Trying to get to the playoffs. Saturday, both games on NBC, 4:30 Eastern Time. Cincinnati against Houston. Dan Hicks and Mike Mayock will be there. And then our crew goes to Green Bay, where the Packers meet the Minnesota Vikings. 6 days after that classic they played in the Metrodome today that put Minnesota into postseason play and knocked Green Bay out of a position to get a bye. Fielded on the run here by Dwayne Harris. And he brings the ball out to the 32-yard line, and back we go to the 6th-round draft choice, Morris.
Let's watch the 2 best players on the Dallas Cowboys defense. They're going to get after DeMarcus Ware on the front side. And on the backside, Anthony Spencer, who was banged up early, could not get there against Alfred Morris. You have to play all 22 guys as intensely as you can on every snap to handle this cutback running game. And for Alfred Morris tonight, a season and career high 172 yards, and they're not blocking the best players of the Dallas Cowboys.
And a Redskin rookie record, the ball is at the 31 as the Cowboys try to effect the comeback. And Romo will start it by throwing the ball to Ogletree for a first down to the 45-yard line.
Well, at some point, the blitz of the Washington Redskins has to work against them if the Cowboys are going to find a way. There is plenty of time in this game. This is a Redskins defense that has given up big plays before. Romo has been patient to this point, but at some point, his big playmaker on the outside, Des Bryant, has to break loose.
Ogletree's catch was his first of the night. Romo, good protection, throws, and that's caught. And here goes Bryant trying to spin away, but Josh Wilson doesn't let him get away after he makes the catch. First down to the 37-yard line.
They're bringing everybody. D. Williams coming out, so now there's no underneath coverage. And you could see on the outside, D'Angelo Hall, when you get that kind of blitz, you expect a hot read. Cowboys picked it up. They could work it down the field.
First down from the 37. Romo hit as he throws, and better served by it being incomplete anyway. Otherwise, it would have been a loss, and that was Josh Wilson coming in to make contact with Tony as he released 2nd and 10.
Boy, Josh Wilson has been rushing more than some of the defensive linemen tonight. And they're not even really trying that hard to disguise it. They're basically coming off of one side and then playing the coverage to the other side as Romo has to flush that way. Jim Haslett, so far, high risk, but high reward.
2nd and 10 from the 37. Romo again using all of the play clock. And then throws, and that's incomplete. Dangerous as Dwayne Harris, that time covered by Hall, who has spent almost the entire night on Bryant, but this time goes to the other guy.
Well, D'Angelo Hall may be the MVP of this game. If you're going to blitz like that, you have to have somebody on the outside play man coverage. And so far tonight, there's no reason for the Redskins to stop blitzing because they can't beat that guy. They can't beat D'Angelo Hall down the field.
Third and 10. Romo, look out again, and down he goes for a big-time sack, and the first flag of the game is thrown at the Washington 45.
Holding, number 71, offense. Penalty of decline, 4th down.
That's Nate Livings, and the end result after the penalty is declined is a 15-yard sack.
On the outside, you get D'Angelo Hall one-on-one against Kevin Ogletree. On the other side, strictly one-on-one. London Fletcher, as he's been doing most of the night, coming unblocked from the outside. And so far, the Dallas Cowboys don't have the answer. And is that Des?
It is. Des Bryant with the attention, 4th and 28. Officially an 18-yard sack for Fletcher. After they spotted the ball, the punt is hauled in at the 10 by Richard Crawford. And the rookie from SMU with a 14-yard run back. 8.5 to go in the 4th. Griffin going to work, up by 11. NFC East Championship, the 12th and final playoff spot at stake. Winner hosting Seattle next Sunday, and the loser can go to work on the offseason, the draft, and all the other things that you don't want to be thinking about on New Year's Eve. From the 25-yard line on first down, Morris To the 32, we go to Michelle.
Well, Des Bryant appears to be in a great deal of pain. He's wincing, and they're looking at his low back, Al. He's having a hard time even standing up straight, had a difficult time getting to the bench, and is leaning on trainers to help him stay on his feet. So looking at that low back, again, in a lot of pain. Nothing official yet, but it does not look promising.
Thanks, Michelle. We saw the play where he reached for that lower back, and remember, Austin got hurt earlier in the game. He's been in and out. Now Bryant looks like he may be done. But first things first, that Cowboy defense is going to have to do its job. 2nd and 2. And now you got a false start, the first of the game. Walt Anderson.
False start, number 71, offense. 5-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Trent Williams, who will be making a trip to the Pro Bowl. Meanwhile, Morris, and we talked about a rookie rushing record that's regular season. 180. Timmy Smith in that Super Bowl in San Diego following the 87 season. The game that Doug Williams lit it up. Smith ran for 204 that day against Denver. 2nd down and 7. And again, Morris. You know, the thing about Morris, too, you think about when Shanahan came in, they needed a quarterback, so they made the deal with Philadelphia for Donovan McNabb. That didn't work out, and there goes Bryant back to the locker room. So an ugly scene for them. So Shanahan gets McNabb, that doesn't work out. Then last year he's got Rex Grossman and John Beck, and that doesn't work out. Now he has this guy, and of course this is working out. But when they traded McNabb to Minnesota, it was for a 6th-round draft choice. Turned out to be Morris. Such a deal. 3rd and 8. And going deep and incomplete on 3rd and 8, intended for Joshua Morgan. Covered there by Claiborne, and the Redskins will punt with 6:49 to go. And we have another flag here.
Illegal formation, number 71, offense, not on line of scrimmage. That penalty is declined. 4th down.
Williams again.
Well, let's give a little credit to this Cowboys defense. Obviously, they're decimated with injuries and playing very short-handed out here, and yet they've kept this thing competitive. And there is nobody on the outside guy. There is nobody at the top of the screen if they want to raise up and throw the ball wide to either guy. So instead, they bring him in. The Cowboys basically daring them to fake that ball, and Redskins didn't.
Redskins just brought the gunners in to make sure with the punt block on that the kick can be gotten away, and Harris takes it the ball to the 29-yard line, and Harris down the sideline right in front of the Redskin bench, staying in bounds, and gets hog-tied out of bounds, and that'll be a flag by Rocca. So the punter is able to tackle him, but he's going to get flagged here, and that's going to move Dallas very deep into Washington territory. 43-yard kick and a 40-yard return plus the penalty coming up here.
Personal foul, grabbing a face mask, number 6 for the kicking team. That's a 15-yard penalty. Be a 1st down. Timeout.
So Harris gives them the spark, but they'll have to go to work without Bryant. And down by 11 with 6.5 to go. The stretch, there is Austin. He looks like he's done for the night. Bryant's back in the locker room. They are the 1 and 2 receivers. So now you got Harris, you have Ogletree, and Beasley, and of course you have Witten as the tight end. So the 3, 4, and 5 receivers are going to have to do the job. The ball starts at the 16-yard line. DeMarco Murray is the running back. And Murray takes the pass, slips, but regains his balance and gets to the 10-yard line.
Interesting watching London Fletcher out on the field right now. This is a chess match. Jim Haslett has given London Fletcher carte blanche to change any call he makes in the game. All he has to do is feel it. Says he's the smartest player he's ever been around. He talks to him like a coach on the field, and right now Fletcher is running the show.
2nd and 4 as Romo slings it to the outside and behind Beasley. It's not when you're going back shoulder, but incomplete. The line judge is right there. It looked for the moment as if Beasley had it. Couldn't hold on. Wilson covers on the play. And meanwhile, Beasley comes back limping, and it's 3rd and 4.
I'll tell you, this Josh Wilson has had a game, too. This hit's going to knock the ball out. I think he catches it, but remember, you have to go to the ground, maintain possession, and Wilson able to knock that one out. Big interception earlier as well. Has been blitzing all night.
Meanwhile, Austin has to come back in because Beasley got whacked and he goes to the sideline and holds that right leg. Huge 3rd and 4 here. And Romo throws, and it's caught for a touchdown by Ogletree. Kevin Ogletree on a 3rd and 4 for the touchdown. And now the Cowboys will have to go for 2, down by 5 to try to make it a 3-point game.
So for the first time all night, they win a one-on-one battle against the rookie Richard Crawford on the outside. And there's something about Kevin Ogletree when he plays on NBC. He comes up big, it seems like, every time we have him.
He had a huge game on opening night against the Giants. Big night tonight for him. They have to go for 2. It does you no good to be down by. You might as well what's the difference between 4 or 5 at that point. You got to score a touchdown. If you make the 2-pointer, obviously a field goal could tie the game. 5:50 remaining. The 2-point conversion here.
The obvious answer is Jason Witten, but London Fletcher and the Redskins know that as well, so we'll see.
Witten lines up on the left side. Austin and Ogletree at the top and Harris on the bottom. And Tony's going to take it under center and then throw, and it is caught by Dwayne Harris for the 2-point conversion. Exactly what the Cowboys needed on that drive. Turned Crawford around. It's a 3-point game. Set up for a wild finish to the game and the season on Sunday night.
Tony Romo taking advantage of the blitz that time on that drive for the first time. They have been able to get it done. Going to bring pressure as they have throughout the course of the game. And it's amazing that Dwayne Harris has become such a trusted part of this receiving core now for Tony Romo. He said, I know where he's going to be. I know what he's going to do. And in one of the biggest moments of this season, he finds Dwayne Harris to cut it to 3. And this is getting interesting.
Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones. We go through this every week. The Cowboys, high drama once again. 2 yards into the end zone. Niles Paul. And Paul breaking away. Big time run back for Niles Paul. Brandon Banks is their run back guy, but he's inactive tonight. He's hurt. So they put Paul back there, tight end by trade, who looks like anything but on that run back of 49 yards.
I started laughing in practice when we were watching their special teams. I said, why do they have a tight end back there returning kickoffs? But he was a wide receiver a year ago, and now, of course, Fred Davis's injury, and he's gotten a chance to do this. And anytime a tight end gets a chance to stiff arm a kicker, that's fun for those guys. Big returns. It was Harris that set up the Cowboys, and now Paul going the other way.
Meanwhile, Ware is in, and so is Spencer. He's back at the 46-yard line. And Griffin finds a big hole after faking the handoff and takes the ball to the 39-yard line. That is impossible to stop. 15 yards.
They're doing a little adjustment now. Ernie Sims now is going to come around the outside here. So they're saying, all right, DeMarcus, where you go get Alfred Morris, we'll send Sims around the outside. But Sims had no better luck than DeMarcus Ware did, trying to bring down RG3 even on a bad knee. And believe me, this is not even close to the way RG3 ran the football early in the year when he was healthy.
From the 39-yard line. Morris. They bunch him up after a minimal game. Under 5 minutes to play. Morris now with 27 carries, 181 yards.
You know, and certainly a field goal here doesn't end up killing you, and they're right on the edge. The most important thing, though, for the Cowboys is they have to get off the field. Some way, somehow, they have to get Tony Romo and that offense back on the field. The running game of the Redskins is just wearing down this defense that is almost out of bodies.
Redskins have 255 rushing yards tonight and 100 passing. And here comes Ware, but Griffin gets the pass away, and everybody in the building is looking for a flag, but there will be none. It'll be 3rd down and 8.
Very nice play. I think that's Ernie Sims and man coverage on the back coming out. Sims, the one thing that he is known for is the ability to run and cover, and that time his speed paid big dividends. I think that was the correct call as well. I wasn't even on a roster on the streets, and Cowboys have about 7 or 8 of those guys that weren't in football that are now playing a lot for them at this point in the season.
Meanwhile, Griffin took a shot, as you saw, so for the moment he comes to the sideline before a 3rd down and 8, and of course that's going to cost Washington a timeout. They're first with 2 to go. Coming to NBC on Mondays, She's Living a Lie to uncover the truth. The name of the show is Deception. It premieres Monday, January the 7th, right here on NBC. You know, Chris, I look at the Redskins, and you look at them a couple of years ago, and Shanahan comes in, and he's going to be the savior, and then the town is starting to think, well, maybe Mike has lost his magic. You know, maybe he's not what he used to be. The magic's back, and now he's got a quarterback that could be here forever.
Yeah, but what did he tell Bob Costas? He walked into Dan Snyder's office when he was basically offered the job, and he said, listen, this is a 5-year project, and they have remade this roster. A lot more speed, a lot more ability to run after the catch at the wide receiver position. Completely remade an offense with RG3. None of them had ever coached that sort of read option stuff. They go back in the offseason, study everybody on the planet that was doing it, and now all of a sudden here they are on the brink of making the playoffs.
Big 3rd and 8 after Griffin needed that timeout just to gather himself. Hangs in the pocket under pressure, and he will finally get sacked. The bowling ball around, and Griffin is down, and Griffin is slow in getting up, and Griffin is still on the ground, and that's Anthony Spencer. So Griffin, who took that shot from Ware as he got the pass away on the prior play and needed the timeout, now needs assistance going to the bench. 4th down.
Boy, this has just been a brutal affair. The initial protection was actually pretty good. Just kind of got lost in all the bodies, and Anthony Spencer now, who has 7.5 sacks in the last 7 games, is proven worthy of a new deal.
Rocker's kick is fair, caught by Harris at the 15-yard line. Well, Romo in the 4th quarter this season, the last 6 games in particular, has just been sensational. Over the last month and a half, 8 touchdowns, no picks, big-time rating, 4 game-winning drives. And, of course, came very close last week when they were down by 14 and caught New Orleans in overtime, only to lose in the extra session. So here goes Tony with 3.5 to go. They have all of their timeouts and the 2-minute warning.
Remember, one of the best field goal kickers in the game, and Dan Bailey, 25 for 25 this season, under 50 yards.
Go double tight end here. Again, Austin's been in and out. Bryant's back in the locker room. And Romo starts out of the shotgun over the middle to his main man, Witten. And Jason Witten out to the 29-yard line. Earlier tonight caught the 800th pass of his career. And tonight for him, that's 7 grabs.
Wouldn't it be amazing? The blitz beats them all night long, and in the final drive, they could finally solve the Rubik's Cube. And it's with the guy that is his favorite receiver.
With 3 minutes left, pressure is on. Floated and intercepted by Rob Jackson, who's made some big plays this season, intended for DeMarco Murray and picked off by Jackson.
Tony Romo simply fooled. He thinks that Jackson is coming on the blitz. Perry Riley was in his face. He just got tricked. Jackson on the outside took 2 steps forward and then fell underneath that ball. And for Tony Romo, it's not over, but that's not good.
Meanwhile, Griffin, who was shaken up, is back in. Tony just holding his head, and all he can hope for now is another shot after the defense at least holds him at worst to a field goal. And Dallas is going to have to take its timeouts on defense. But first things first, they're going to have to stop Morris, and they haven't been able to do that all night. He almost spun out of it for a first down and may have had it anyway. And Morris, we'll see where they spot the ball. The officials are signaling for the clock to stop.
Well, it's been this play all night and others like it. Alfred Morris has just been tremendous, but for Tony Romo, this has the makings of his worst nightmare. There's just no other way to say it. If they go in and score a touchdown and they lose the game, and his final play of this season is that pass, it will haunt him until, at the very least, his next opportunity.
Well, Morris did get enough with forward progress to net the first down at the 15-yard line, and then Dallas has to use a timeout. Again, they have 2 left, plus the 2-minute warning, so in effect 3. But at worst, they have to just yield that field goal and then hope that the offense can do the trick and march them all the way down the field.
Jim Haslett has put together a masterful game plan tonight. He has had Tony Romo's number.
From the 15-yard line, the rookie Morris, and Spencer is finally able to grab him and slow him down. Morris now with 194 yards. Timeout, Dallas.
Well, here you go. It started horribly, and at least thus far looks like it may end horribly for Tony Romo. They tried the first one, and Ogletree obviously didn't see the hot read there. Okay, maybe. That time Jason Witten got crammed back into Romo. Short arm the throw. Pick number 2. Pick number 3. No excuse there, other than he simply got fooled, and it was the pressure, as it's been all night long, from those 2 inside linebackers that distracted Romo just enough. He simply did not see Rob Jackson after that 2 steps forward, falling back underneath his running back.
Here he sits next to the backup quarterback, Kyle Orton. It is 2nd down and 7. 2:45 remaining, 1 timeout, and the 2-minute warning.
Now for the Cowboys, they almost have to begin to send the house here in the hopes of making some play.
Here's Morris, and he'll get taken down, so it's going to be 3rd down and about 6. Dallas will take its final timeout. And here comes the ball game now on a 3rd and 7. If Washington can convert, they can take it all the way to the finish line. If not, settle for a field goal, and then Romo can go to work without a timeout.
You know, here's the really interesting decision now. Do you put the ball in the hands of Robert Griffin III and give it a shot throwing the ball, or just rely on your defense? Alfred Morris obviously with an absolutely huge year this year. 3rd all-time for the rookies. Now they're probably going to spread it out a little bit and see if RG3 can do his magic. This is where you find out how much you trust your rookie quarterback.
3rd and 7, and they empty the backfield. For the first time tonight, they empty it. And the pass over the middle is incomplete. And a flag is thrown. Garcon, the intended receiver. Is it roughing the passer? Is the question? Hatcher came in.
Foul, roughing the passer, number 97. Contact to the quarterback's head. That's half the distance to the goal. 1st down.
Hatcher.
There he is, right there. I don't think it's a late hit. I think it's a blow to the head. There it is. Oh my goodness. And he's getting blocked underneath. So that's really sort of the impetus that put his hands down. I don't think he was trying to swat. And Daniel Snyder loving that one. And for Tony Romo, it just gets worse.
So it's 1st and goal. They can run a play and get to the 2-minute warning. And then run a good portion of the clock on the next 2 plays. And then at worst, kick a field goal and leave Dallas with just seconds. Meanwhile, you got a Washington timeout here.
What a moment for that young man. You know, I mean, Robert Griffin III, can you imagine, as a rookie now, with all these hardened veterans, you're 3-6, you go on the bye, they come back and they take a vote, who's going to be our second half captain, and they say, we want the rookie. Every meeting, he's the first one there. He's the last one to leave the building. On the bus, he's the first one sitting in the first seat, giving a little fist pump to every single guy that comes on the bus. You ask any member of this football team who's the leader, they all point to the rookie. I don't know of another situation like that I've seen in the National Football League.
One of the most electrifying rookies of all time in the NFL on every level as he hands the ball off here to Morris. And Morris will chug down to the 2-yard line. And then we will get to the 2-minute warning, and it will be second down and goal.
You know, the other part of this that we have to mention is that Kirk Cousins, the other rookie that they drafted, played a very significant role in this winning streak at the end. A big part of 2 games, one of which he started and threw for over 300 yards. So Mike Shanahan, who's been criticized in the past for personnel decisions, drafts 2 quarterbacks, comes up aces with both.
And Bruce Allen, the general manager, as well, deserves a lot of credit. You get a guy in the 6th round by the name of Alfred Morris. Second and goal when we come back. Seattle, will they go to Washington or Dallas? Right now it looks like the nation's capital. Back in. Post-game report, end of the game, Michelle down on the field. Bob, Tony, and Mike will break it down. And then a look ahead to Wild Card Saturday. Bengals at Texans, Vikings at Packers, both on NBC. Cowboy offense can just sit and hope right now. It is second and goal from the 3-yard line. Morris with 197 yards. And there goes Morris to the 199 mark, and they'll run this clock all the way down right now. Third and goal. .3,200 passing yards for Griffin. It's almost symmetrical right there. 16-12 on the ground. For Morris, you go back to the 43 Giants, last team to make the postseason, with rookies leading in rushing and in passing. Griffin, the 2nd overall pick, traded away a ton of draft choices to get him, but it's all working out, and they'll take the clock all the way down to 1 second left. Shanahan takes the timeout. Well, the last time a team started the season 3-6 and made the playoffs, you go back to the 1996 Jacksonville Jaguars, 2nd year of their existence, coached by Tom Coughlin, and then they went into Denver and pulled a gigantic upset over Mike Shanahan's Broncos just prior to the Broncos Super Bowl run. Lions did it in 95, Pats did it in 94, and the Bengals all the way back in their 3rd year of existence in 1970.
Here we go. The season for the Dallas Cowboys. You get 1 play, you hold them here, force them to kick a field goal, you still have a chance. They have not been able to stop this running game all night long. They need 1. Tony Romo needs 1. He needs a chance.
You can take it down to almost 30 seconds if they don't make it and opt to kick the field goal. Morris, can he get in? And he does. Touchdown. So Morris cements it. The Redskins will go to the playoffs.
Wait a minute.
Wait a second. Did the ball come out?
It did, and they're pointing towards the Dallas Cowboys here.
That was the indication. There was a touchdown. There's the touchdown signal coming in from the line judge. He signaled touchdown. Of course, whether it's a turnover or a scoring play.
The plane of the goal prior to the ball being loose. It's a touchdown.
It's within 2 minutes. Of course, all scoring plays are going to get reviewed. No challenges or anything. This is going to be reviewed anyway. So does he get in with possession?
Yes.
He's there.
Yep.
So the ball came loose, but after he was in. And that yard before the ball comes loose, which results in the touchdown, which results in a 7th straight victory, which results in Washington's first postseason home game since '99, is the 200th yard of Morris's night.
And remember, you don't have to cross over the line. You just have to get to the front millimeter of that line. Any part of the ball touches the front edge of that line, and it is a touchdown. And Robert Griffin III is already a legend, and Alfred Morris is becoming one. Man.
And the legend of the Northwest, Russell Wilson, will meet the Beltway legend in the playoffs next Sunday.
Winners without losers, and for Tony Romo, with the way he played tonight, this one is going to be hard to forget. The blitz beat the Cowboys tonight.
Bouncing ball. Harris fakes the handoff, fakes the throwback, and then takes it out to the 27-yard line. So down by 10, 62 seconds. Romo needs, if he can get the ball deep downfield, then they can kick a field goal and try an onside kick. And Dwayne Harris is down. So there goes the number 1 receiver's back in the locker room. The 2 is in and out. Then here's Harris, one of the other guys. And this is the way this season is going to come to an end for the Dallas Cowboys.
Mercifully.
Mercilessly, too.
And to some extent, I'll tell you in a minute.
All right. We'll be back in a minute. Wild Card Saturday coming your way this week. Cincinnati at Houston starts it. Minnesota at Green Bay is the night game for us on NBC 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific time to get that doubleheader underway. London Fletcher, 15 years, been here since 07. Santana Moss, been here a long time. Chris Cooley, been here a long time. He was gone, and then they brought him back. And they're going to postseason. Of course, with Fletcher, he already has a Super Bowl ring back in '99 with the Dick Vermeil, Kurt Warner Rams. Romo to work. Starts by throwing it to DeMarco Murray, and the Redskins say you can have all of the bites you want right now. Gain of 4.
London Fletcher is going to lead a team in tackles for, I believe, the 14th straight year. How remarkable is that?
And Romo going underneath, and then not being able to get out of bounds is Hanna. Tackled by Wilson to keep the clock going under a half minute.
You almost have to get to the point where you're throwing a Hail Mary now to have any shot at even a field goal, and that just doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Definitely, and a Hail Mary to the sidelines too to stop the clock. Instead, they go over the middle and they give it to Hanna, and he gets the full takedown there by Riley, and that's going to take us to the finish line and take the Washington Redskins into the playoffs, riding a 7-game winning streak. RG3. Maybe he can solve the fiscal cliff. He's done everything else.
Send him in there. Wow. I mean, it's not often you see something as impressive as a limping quarterback drag a team to the playoffs from a 3-6 start. And the class shows all the way to the end.
He knows his history, and he knows how painful this has to be for Romo.
I'm not even sure Tony Romo knows how painful this is going to be for Romo.
Man, long offseason. 28-18, Washington. Cowboys done. Skins go on, and the Wendy's postgame report comes up next.